Andy, it's great to see you as we're both in Las Vegas for basketball, but can't wait to be back home in Alabama later in the week. How's everything going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to be back for Thanksgiving. Hopefully, back for Thanksgiving, and then getting ready for a rather cool setting on at Jordan Hare Stadium on Saturday night as the Tigers play host to the Crimson Tide.
It really will be cool coming up with cooler temperatures at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I'm sure for you all, of course, Alabama had a good non-conference win against Eastern Illinois last week. But let's start with the Mercer win for the Auburn Tigers and how Deuce Knight performed. How meaningful was that for this football team?
Not sure he could have performed much better in his college starting debut. I mean, he went 75 yards on the first play from scrimmage, scored 4 touchdowns on the ground, 2 more touchdowns through the air, was really in command of the Auburn offense. Of course, Auburn decided to start Deuce rather than burn a redshirt year for Ashton Daniels, who had played very well for Auburn in spite of an overtime loss at Vanderbilt 3 weeks ago. So Auburn had a decision to make what to do at quarterback, made that decision on Monday that Daniels would sit and preserve a redshirt year. And then on Thursday last week, the decision was made to start Deuce Knight, and he was terrific. He was very good. And Auburn, I thought, played really well from the first quarter on. Did not play especially well defensively in the first quarter, but then only gave up a field goal for the rest of the ball game against a real good Mercer team that's now getting ready for the FCS playoffs.
So now as you get ready for the Iron Bowl, is the plan for Deuce Knight to be at quarterback for this game?
A good question. As you and I talk right now, Roger, I can't give you a definitive answer, but my guess is it will be Ashton Daniels. Just like there in Tuscaloosa, interim head coach DJ Durkin will have his press conference a little bit later today. And so I don't want to speak for the interim head coach, but if I were to guess, it would be Ashton Daniels getting the start at quarterback on Saturday against Alabama.
Well, you mentioned DJ Durkin. How have you seen him lead this program as the interim? Obviously, time before as the defensive coordinator, but specifically looking at the last few weeks, how has he handled this situation?
I think he's really handled it very, very well, especially during this interim role. And he's done it in the middle of a season where he has taken over the program. And I think he has added some life to this program on both sides of the ball. I think one of the things that he did that really helped Auburn is he gave Derek Nix full reign of the offense, Auburn's offensive coordinator. And Auburn has shown that in the 2 games since he has taken over, DJ has taken over as the interim head coach. Auburn has been really good defensively all season long. Those guys really rallied around DJ Durkin on that side of the ball. I think they were happy when this change was made that DJ was named the interim head coach. And so I think he's handled it very well. Obviously, it's a huge change in the middle of the season when you go from handling just the defense to handling the entire program at this point. But I think all in all, DJ Durkin has done a very, very good job as he gets ready for his first Iron Bowl as a head coach.
Well, one of the things we have seen with Auburn in recent years, the roster has been transformed, more talent to this roster, specifically in some skill players. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball first. Who are the players that our fans need to know about as we get ready for this game?
Well, Jeremiah Cobb is within shouting distance of 1,000 yards this season, and looks to get to that on Saturday night against a really, really good defense in Alabama. That's one. He has been here. Cam Coleman of late has played like the player that Auburn thought it would get when they picked him up a couple years ago, and he has been Auburn's go-to guy from a receiving standpoint, and is just very, very good, especially in one-on-one situations. And I know Auburn will be tested by the corners for Alabama, but to this point, we have not seen a cornerback in a one-on-one situation handle Cam Coleman. Perhaps that happens Saturday night. Auburn will get tested by that, but Coleman has just been so very good for Auburn. And let me add one more. And Eric Singleton Jr., who transferred to Auburn from Georgia Tech, has a catch in every game of his career, 35 straight games in his career. He is Auburn's leading man with receptions and yards, and gives Auburn some speed out at the wide receiver spot. So there's 3 for you at the special, or that at the where we're talking about. Also, Perry Thompson has come on for Auburn at wide receiver, and Malcolm Simmons has been steady for the Tigers at wide receiver all season long.
And then how about on the defensive side of the ball? What's really the strength for Auburn on defense?
That's a good question, and there were some questions going in about this defense. The defensive ends for Auburn, I think, are the strength of this team. Just what Auburn has been able to do in putting pressure on the quarterback, Kieran Crawford on one side, Keldrick Falk on the other, who is likely to be a high draft pick for Auburn, if not a first round draft pick for Auburn this year. Auburn has been really good, and I think surprisingly good at linebacker. Xavier Atkins, who transferred to Auburn from LSU, is Auburn's leading tackler. He leads Auburn in tackles for loss and sacks. He has been a man among boys at the linebacker spot for Auburn this season. And then Auburn is relying a little bit more on some freshmen at linebacker. Elijah Melendez, who had a pick six last week against Mercer, and Bryce Diaz, who has been very good for Auburn at the linebacker spot. Auburn, its experience coming to this season has been in the secondary. And Kean Lee is Auburn's best cover corner. I know he will be tested Saturday night with the very good wide receivers that Alabama will put on the field against Auburn. But I think if there's, and I wouldn't say it's a surprise, perhaps, but the guys that have stepped up at the linebacker spot for Auburn. If there was a question though going into the season, Roger, for Auburn, it was defensive front, because you just don't have that guy up front. But Auburn has been able to use a great deal of depth there. So instead of guys playing anywhere between 40 and 60 snaps a game, it's anywhere between 20 and 35 snaps a game. They're much fresher. And boy, at this time of the season, that can play a big factor in a ball game as big as the Iron Bowl on Saturday night.
Well, we're excited for the football game coming up this week. But first of all, just tell us about some basketball. Alabama, of course, in the Players Era Festival, along with the Auburn Tigers. As we talked about before we hit record, we could see each other in a non-SEC sanctioned matchup later in the week. But what's the excitement level around Stephen Pearl, his first season as Auburn head coach?
This is an Auburn team that's almost brand new from a year ago. Tahad Pettiford is the only guy that even started a game for Auburn a year ago and was very good for Auburn as a true freshman point guard. He is back, and now we're finding out a little bit more about this ball club. Keaton Hall has been Auburn's leading scorer and rebounder. Led the Big 12 a year ago at UCF, transferring to Auburn. Keyshawn Murphy transferred in from Mississippi State. He gives Auburn some size on the inside. Kevin Overton, a transfer in from Texas Tech, has been very good. Elijah Melendez is a fascinating one because he was at Division II Lincoln Memorial last year and is now in the starting lineup for Auburn. So he has started to come on for the Tigers. Auburn is getting some really good plays from some of its freshmen, including Sebastian Williams-Adams, who is from Houston, a 6'8" guy that can play anywhere from the 2, 3, or the 4, or even the 5 at times. And then, of course, brand new as the head coach is Stephen Pearl, who takes over from his father, who, by the way, is here in Las Vegas doing coverage. So that'll be very interesting to watch that dynamic. Auburn has been very good offensively so far this season, averaging over 90 points a ball game coming in, which is a departure from a year ago. What it has to continue to get better at is the defensive end. Auburn against Houston gave up some straight line one-on-one drives in its only loss this season. We've seen that happen in a couple other ball games, and that's something that Auburn has to continue to get better at. Auburn will play Oregon tonight and then Michigan on Tuesday. And then I have no idea what happens Wednesday or perhaps Thursday here in Las Vegas.
Part of the fun of this tournament. Well, Andy, all the best coming up in Las Vegas. So we can't wait to see you as well on Saturday for the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Just thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you. Have a very happy Thanksgiving.
My pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving, Roger. We'll see you Saturday. Bring some layers to Jordan-Hare Stadium on Saturday.